Hey guys, welcome back to Big Board. Let's take a look at what's going on in the Fate of All. Very cool stuff so far. It's been interesting for the Persians in turn 2, and let's talk about that. They there's there's a lot of rules in this game, but when you start breaking down the individual mechanics and taking a look at, excuse me, sorry, I don't have it on the map properly. Start breaking things down and looking at it. Sometimes it's some of the wording that's a little tricky. And I'll give you an example. There's this concept in the sequence of play called the final supply check step. And the wording for it is broken down into, let's see, 4 points. And what that nets out to is that if your army is in a city or a port and you control it and it's not being sieged or blockaded, you don't have to do a supply check. If your army is out in the field and the forage value is greater than 0, you don't have to do a supply check. So rather than me, for the last, it's you got to do that step for both sides each turn. So I've done it 3 times now. So rather than reading through each of those steps, I've just rewritten the rule for myself. Are my guys in a city? Are they under siege or blockaded? No. Good to go. Are they in a zone, an area, a region, whatever the hell you want to call it, a province that has a forage value greater than 0? Good to go. So that sort of thing is helping me speed up my play and helping me not have to look up the rules. And I think that's very good that it's clearly delineated so that we don't get rules lawyering going on. But the essence of the rule is what I just said. So we're moving along. And pretty much anything else you do, like buying supply, buying units, everything costs a talent, which is a metric of money in ancient times. And so there's that. And so we're now moving along. So now let's talk about the game tactics and what's been happening. What is Darius doing in his second turn? It's now May 354 BC. Darius has moved his forces from Ephesus, a very small amount of troops, up into Army 2 here to reinforce those, because that baggage train has 6 supply in it. And I split Memnon's army into 2 portions, and we're going to consolidate down around Sardis. And I was debating here what to do with Memnon. Should Memnon stay where he is? Should he keep his army together? Should he back off up into the hinterland? Then he's going to have to go through all this foraging nonsense, and sometimes that can be tricky if the rolls don't go right. But he could certainly do it and live off the land and not deplete it or reduce it so that it's not usable. So I debated doing that. But I think for the moment, I'd like to taunt Alex and see if we can get Alexander to come maybe try and take me out, because if he does, that clears his rear. It's a thing, right? So we wouldn't have a decent army leader sitting in the background here looking for trouble. Now I know that I've reduced his strength a little bit by moving these guys. Now the other thing I could do is consolidate all the forces there. That's one of the reasons why I split it up into 2 groups, is so that it wouldn't affect the foraging. But then when I went to move these guys, I was like, I think I'm gonna hold tight here. I'm gonna let them come siege me. I've still got how much force do I have there? Hang on one second, I'll tell you. He goes over and he looks, and it looks like we might have. What army is it? 1? That would help. Yes, 34 strength points. So pretty tough. That would be tricky for Alexander to try and take on. Okay, what else happened? Whoa, easy now. But right where we need to be, we've moved fleet number 2 around to Tarsos, and we moved fleet number 3, who was at Salamis, and moved them over here, and they did their attrition rolls across the 2 full sea hexes and were very successful there. It's not as difficult as it sounds. It sounds very scary that you've got to do an attrition roll, but for naval units, you don't really have a very high chance of sinking. But you know, dice will do that to you, right? Okay, so I'm going to angle the camera differently so the reflections don't affect anything. Here is Darius. Darius has got 2 columns going, and we've just got the units on the board. One of the things that I realized is that while there are 4 army boxes, that is not a hard limit. You can have as many columns on the map as you want. You're going to have to keep track of them with pencil and paper. But you just, you know, because you want to know the number of stacking steps, and you want to know the combat value of all of your armies. And you move these armies in columns of 30 or less, depending on the zone you're in, so that you don't deplete as I mentioned earlier, deplete the forage, right? So Darius is on the board. He recruited last turn and this turn, and we're now, we moved 30 movement points, and we are coming up on the edge of Syria, and we are looking to get connected with this fleet here, and we may do naval transport, or we may just push the fleet forward, but I want to move both armies, both fleets and the army, well, you know, probably along the coastline. We'll see, or maybe inland. I haven't really decided that yet. And I've been shipping the shipping route supply here so that we can update and replenish what is used if we needed it. So far we haven't needed it because this is very fertile ground over here on the right. You know, it's obviously all the Assyrian, I nearly said Assyrian battlefields. Assyrian fields and plains, so pretty fertile, and you've got these regions here that obviously are fertile as well because of the Euphrates River, etc. Anyway, that's what's going on. Moving on to Alex now. We'll let Alexander do his thing. I haven't really worked out what he is going to do. We did as an anticipatory move. We've purchased. Where are they? Here they are. We've purchased. I brought an extra leader on, and we've purchased some garrison units, and we're going to begin shifting those guys over to stage them so that they can move into the cities we conquer, and we'll kind of go from there. All right, all the best.